Oh, our story begins with Captain Barnacle Beard, the only pirate in history capable of getting lost inside his own ship. And today, he had apparently found a legendary treasure map.
Men, I have found the treasure!
He had not. The crew stared and stared, and somehow became even more disappointed.
Captain, the map is upside down.
Wait, maps can do that? The crew leaned closer. It wasn't a treasure map. It was the lunch menu from a tavern!
Oh, that explains the fish soup.
Refusing to accept defeat, Barnacle Beard launched into emergency treasure map recovery operations. Papers flew, charts flew, at one point a tax document flew. Then suddenly, he found it!
Ha-ha! I knew I was right!
You were wrong first.
The crew cheered. Well, most of them cheered. The first mate remained unconvinced. That was the exact moment everything began going horribly wrong!
Armed with a real treasure map and absolutely no common sense, Captain Barnacle Beard immediately set sail. The crew worked tirelessly. The ship raced across the ocean. And somehow, nobody questioned who was navigating. Forward, men! Adventure awaits! Treasure awaits! Glory awaits! Unfortunately, so did several large rocks. High above the deck, the ship's lookout was performing his sacred pirate duty. Sleeping. Very professionally. Very thoroughly. Then suddenly, he woke up and immediately wished he hadn't. Captain! Captain! We're all gonna die! Rock! Rock! Really big rock! Straight ahead! The lookout pointed toward a gigantic wall of stone directly in the ship's path. Excellent! We found the treasure island!
That was not the treasure island. It was just a rock. A very large rock.
Captain, that's a cliff.
The crew panicked. The first mate panicked. Even the seagulls panicked. Captain Barnacle Beard remained completely confident.
See? Everything is under control.
Everything was not under control. The ship slammed directly into the cliff. Pirates flew everywhere. Wood flew everywhere. Barrels flew everywhere. Physics itself resigned from the situation. And for reasons nobody could explain, a chicken was also launched into the sky. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Nobody knew where the chicken came from. Nobody knew where the chicken went. But the chicken had somehow become part of the adventure.
After the crash, the crew spent hours repairing the ship. They hammered, they patched holes, they worked tirelessly to keep the ocean from moving into their bedrooms.
A little help would be nice.
Meanwhile, Captain Barnacle Beard had discovered a much more important mission. Motivational speaking.
Listen carefully, my friend.
Great pirates are not born. They are forged by courage, forged by determination, forged by destiny. He was talking to a barrel. Not only was he talking to the barrel, he had given it a tiny pirate hat. I see leadership potential in you. One day, you shall command your own ship. I believe in you. The crew watched in complete silence. They were repairing a sinking ship. Their captain was mentoring furniture.
Has he always been like this?
Unfortunately, yes. After several minutes of encouragement, Captain Barnacle Beard reached a conclusion. Outstanding speech. Absolutely outstanding. Then he shook the barrel's hand.
The barrel doesn't have hands.
Not with that attitude. The ship was still broken. The crew was still exhausted. But somehow, the barrel had just received a promotion. Several hours later, the pirates sailed into a strange, supernatural fog. The sea became silent. The wind disappeared. Visibility dropped to almost nothing. Captain, I can't see anything. Excellent! Neither can our enemies. Then, something appeared in the fog. A dark shape. A very large dark shape. A concerningly large dark shape. Please tell me that's a cloud. It was not a cloud. It was an enormous pirate warship. Towering black sails, rows of cannons, enough firepower to ruin everyone's day. The crew panicked immediately. Some pointed, some screamed. One pirate began updating his will. We're doomed!
And then, the captain of the enemy ship appeared. Captain Dreadfang, the most feared pirate in the entire ocean. At last, we meet. His mustache alone had conquered 3 hairstyles. His reputation terrified sailors across the world. His glare could curdle milk. You have sailed into your final voyage. I am Captain Dreadfang, master of the Black Tempest, scourge of the 7 seas, the nightmare of every sailor who dares cross my path. The fog swirled dramatically. His crew cheered. The moment was perfect.
That reminds me. One time I got stuck in a bucket.
A bucket?
Couldn't get out for 3 hours.
Captain Dreadfang froze. His speech stopped. His brain stopped. For a moment, even his mustache looked confused. What? The first mate facepalmed. The crew facepalmed. Several enemy pirates facepalmed. We're gonna die because of a bucket story. The important thing is that I escaped. And somehow, this was only the beginning of their problems.
Captain Dreadfang had finally heard enough. The speeches were over. The bucket story was over. And now, the cannons were ready. Fire. Every cannon on Dreadfang's ship erupted at once. Fire! Smoke! Thunder! Enough gunpowder to alarm several nearby countries! Cannonballs screamed across the sky. They tore through the air. They bounced over the waves. And they headed straight for Barnacle Beard's ship. Everyone down! Pirates dove behind barrels. Pirates dove behind ropes. One pirate tried hiding behind another pirate. Men, return fire! For glory! For treasure! For whatever pirates normally yell about. Nobody knew what that meant, but they cheered anyway. The crew rushed toward their cannon, hands shaking, eyes wide, absolutely no confidence whatsoever. Please let this work. The cannon fired! A massive explosion shook the deck. Smoke covered everything. The recoil nearly launched the cannon into another scene. The cannonball missed. Completely. Spectacularly. Not even close.
That was your attack?
The cannonball continued flying, far beyond Dreadfang's ship, far beyond the battle, and directly towards something much worse. A gigantic whale. The largest whale anyone had ever seen. And unfortunately, the cannonball hit it. The whale slowly turned around. That's probably bad. The whale looked angry. Very angry. The kind of angry usually reserved for villains. Then the whale charged. The ocean exploded around it. Waves rose into the air, and it headed directly toward Dreadfang's ship. Why is it coming toward me? Because life is unfair. The whale slammed directly into the ship. Wood exploded. Cannons exploded. Pirates exploded out of windows. The mighty warship split apart. One half went left. One half went right. The laws of ship ownership ceased to exist. This doesn't even make sense! And with that, Captain Dreadfang disappeared beneath the waves, defeated by a whale. Oh, the battle was over. The enemy ship was gone. The whale was gone. The ocean was calm again. Exactly as planned. You missed the target. A strategic miss. And somehow, he believed that. After accidentally defeating one of the most feared pirates on the ocean, the crew finally reached the island marked on the treasure map, and it looked exactly as welcoming as a haunted nightmare. At last! The treasure is mine! Skull-shaped rocks towered above the shoreline. Dead trees twisted in the wind. Dark clouds hung overhead. Every single warning sign in existence was screaming at them to leave.
place looks cursed. The crew stepped onto the beach. Nobody smiled. Nobody relaxed. Nobody wanted to be there. I have a bad feeling about this. Captain marched forward like a legendary explorer. Fearless, confident, completely unaware of what was about to happen.
Follow me, men! Adventure awaits! High above the captain, a coconut broke free from a palm tree. It began falling straight toward his head. One pirate screams, "Captain, look out!" Too late! The coconut struck with the force of destiny! Bonk!
I think I just discovered a new star. The mighty explorer collapsed face first into the sand. His heroic expedition had lasted approximately 6 seconds. The island wins the first battle. And somehow, things were about to get much worse. With the coconut incident behind them, the pirates pushed deeper into the island. Through thick jungle, through tangled vines, through enough mosquitoes to form their own government. Forward! The treasure cannot hide forever! 3 minutes later, the island fought back. A pirate stepped into quicksand and immediately began disappearing. I'm being eaten by the ground! The crew grabbed a rope and pulled with everything they had. The pirate pulled. The crew pulled. The quicksand pulled. Nobody was winning. Pull harder! I am pulling harder! Just when they thought things couldn't get any stranger, a gang of monkeys appeared from the trees, and they looked way too confident. Why are they smiling? The answer arrived immediately. The monkeys chose violence. A terrified pirate sprinted through the jungle while an army of angry monkeys chased him. Why me? Nobody knew. Not even the monkeys. Meanwhile, another pirate had become involved in a serious argument with a bush. You know what you did. The bush offered no response. After surviving quicksand, monkeys, and whatever that bush situation was, the pirates finally reached something important. An ancient stone temple hidden deep within the jungle. There it is. The treasure is inside. At long last, they had found the temple. And unfortunately, the temple had been waiting for them.
The pirates stood before the ancient temple. After all the disasters, all the crashes, and all the monkey-related incidents, they had finally arrived. Behold! My treasure! We haven't opened the door yet. The entrance was enormous. Symbols covered every stone. Weathered skull carvings stared down at the pirates. The temple practically screamed, "Do not enter!" Good. They're in the right place. Without hesitation, Barnacle Beard kicked the giant door. Once. Twice. And somehow it actually worked. The doors opened, and beyond them was treasure. A ridiculous amount of treasure. Enough treasure to make accountants cry. Gold covered the floor. Jewels covered the gold. Treasure chests overflowed in every direction. The room looked like greed had exploded. We're rich! The crew could barely believe their eyes. Even the first mate looked impressed. For almost 3 seconds. I told you! I am a genius! Accidentally. Then, they saw it. At the center of the chamber, a gigantic glowing blue diamond. Brighter than all the treasure combined. And beside it, a small red warning sign. Danger. Do not touch. Ancient curse. Severe consequences. Interesting. Barnacle Beard finished reading, then immediately ignored everything he had just read. Captain, maybe we should listen to the warning sign. Signs are merely suggestions. The crew watched nervously. The first mate watched nervously. Even the treasure seemed nervous. And then, Barnacle Beard placed his hand on the diamond. Captain, don't! Too late! The diamond erupted with magical energy. The temple shook violently. Cracks spread across the walls. Gold cascaded from the treasure piles. Dust rained from the ceiling. What did you do? Technically, I think I activated something. Deep beneath the temple, something ancient had awakened.
The temple continued shaking. Then a giant crack split one of the walls. Red light poured through the opening. Stone blocks crashed onto the treasure below. And suddenly, nobody cared about the treasure anymore. I don't like this. The chamber fell silent. Inside the darkness, something was watching them. Two enormous red eyes slowly opened. Oh no. That's definitely bad. The wall exploded apart! A gigantic stone pirate guardian burst into the chamber! Ancient stone armor, massive stone beard, glowing red eyes, and enough anger to power an entire volcano! Nobody moved. Nobody blinked. Nobody breathed. The guardian towered over the pirates like a mountain! That's new. The giant guardian leaned forward. Its glowing eyes locked onto the crew. Then it pointed directly at them. Who touched the diamond? Without hesitation, Captain Barnacle Beard pointed at somebody else. Him. Definitely him. What? I wasn't even near it. The guardian stared and stared. It was not convinced. Not even slightly. Do you think I am stupid? Maybe. The guardian's eyes began glowing brighter. Ancient energy flowed through the cracks in its stone body. Then it slowly raised its gigantic sword. Wrong answer. That was all the motivation the pirates needed. They turned around and ran for their lives. Run! This is a strategic retreat! The guardian charged after them. The treasure chamber collapsed behind them, and the most chaotic chase of their lives had officially begun. The chase was on! The pirates sprinted through ancient temple corridors as fast as their legs could carry them. Behind them, the stone guardian was gaining ground. You are not leaving. Run faster! The ceiling suddenly began collapsing. Massive stone blocks crashed down around the crew. Dust filled the corridor. Everybody dove in random directions. The building is falling. The pirates burst onto a narrow stone bridge hanging above a gigantic chasm. Unfortunately, the bridge immediately started cracking. Keep moving. Don't look down. Everyone looked down. An ancient trap suddenly activated. One unlucky pirate was launched into the air like a cannonball. I regret everything. Nobody even knew what triggered the trap, including the trap. Then Captain Barnacle Beard discovered an abandoned minecart, and naturally, he got in. This is much faster. We are running for our lives. Barnacle Beard was having the time of his life. The stone guardian smashed through wall after wall. Pillars exploded. Stone shattered. Entire rooms ceased to exist. Stop running. I don't think he likes us. By now, the entire temple was collapsing. Ancient towers crumbled, walls split apart, the jungle shook from the destruction. Thousands of years of architecture were having a very bad day. Then, everything came down at once. The temple erupted into a gigantic explosion of dust and stone. A shockwave blasted across the island. Trees bent in the wind. Rocks flew everywhere. At the very last second, the pirates escaped. They tumbled onto the beach, covered in dust, sand, and regret. Behind them, the temple collapsed into a mountain of rubble. Please tell me we got the treasure. About that? They had survived the curse. They had survived the guardian. They had survived the collapsing temple. But there was still one very important problem. They didn't actually have the treasure. After escaping the collapsing temple, the pirates collapsed onto the beach. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Nobody wanted another adventure. I would like one normal day. Just one. Agreed. And that was exactly when things got worse. A giant shadow suddenly covered the beach. The pirates looked up. Slowly. Very slowly. Because nobody wanted to see what was causing it. Please be a cloud.
It was not a cloud. It was a pirate warship. A gigantic pirate warship. A pirate warship so large it made their own ship look like a bathtub. That's not fair. Standing at the front of the ship was Captain Dreadfang. Somehow, against all logic, against all probability, and against several laws of storytelling, he had returned. Did you really think a whale could stop me? The pirates stared at the giant warship. Nobody liked what they saw. That seems excessive. He's probably upset. Then the jungle exploded behind him. Trees snapped, dust filled the air, and something enormous stepped onto the beach. Oh no, not him too. You are. The pirates looked forward, Dreadfang's warship. They looked behind, the Stone Guardian. They looked left, ocean. They looked right, more ocean. They were trapped, completely trapped. Good news, everyone. There was no good news. I knew you were going to say that. For the first time in the entire adventure, Captain Barnacle Beard had absolutely no plan. And unfortunately, things were about to become even more ridiculous. Captain Dreadfang decided he had waited long enough. The cannons opened fire. The giant warship shook. Smoke filled the sky, and the beach instantly became a battlefield. Fire everything! The Stone Guardian was not impressed. He charged across the beach and slammed his giant sword into the ground. Sand exploded. Rocks flew everywhere. The island itself seemed offended. No one leaves. Caught between cannons and a giant stone monster. The pirates did the only thing they were qualified to do. They panicked. Run! We are already running! Then from deep within the jungle, the monkeys returned. Why are they back? Nobody knew. The monkeys simply enjoyed chaos. Within seconds, one unlucky pirate was being chased across the beach. Again. Why is it always me? The monkeys refused to answer. And then, a familiar hero entered the battlefield. The chicken. Where did that chicken come from? Legends do not require explanations. The brave chicken launched itself directly at an enemy pirate. Feathers flew, panic spread, and a fully armed pirate was defeated by poultry. Get it off me! The battlefield descended into complete madness. Cannons fired, monkeys attacked, pirates ran. The Stone Guardian smashed everything in sight. And somehow the chicken was still winning. In the middle of all the chaos, Captain Barnacle Beard noticed something. A glowing treasure chest, sitting alone on the beach. Interesting. Very interesting. A dangerous look appeared in Barnacle Beard's eyes. The look he always got right before making a terrible decision. I have an idea. Oh no. Barnacle Beard explained his plan. The crew listened. The first mate listened. Everybody became increasingly horrified. It's simple. It's brilliant. It's completely foolproof. Those are the 3 warning signs. The battle raged around them. The cannons thundered. The Guardian advanced. And Captain Barnacle Beard was about to attempt the stupidest plan of his entire career.
Captain Barnacle Beard revealed his master plan. It involved a giant cannon, a giant treasure chest, and absolutely no safety regulations. I already hate this. Trust me, the crew immediately discovered a problem. The treasure chest was bigger than the cannon. Much bigger. Captain, it doesn't fit. Push harder. So they pushed and pulled and shoved and somehow made the situation worse. The cannon began making noises that cannons should never make. That cannon is begging for mercy. Against all logic, the chest was finally wedged inside. Captain Barnacle Beard stepped forward dramatically. Fire! We're all going to die. The cannon fired! The beach disappeared behind smoke. The shockwave blasted pirates through the sand, and the treasure chest launched into the sky like a giant golden missile. Higher and higher it flew, above the jungle, above the beach, above the battlefield. Where exactly is it going? I have no idea. Unfortunately, the treasure chest was heading directly toward a volcano. That's probably bad. The chest slammed into the side of the volcano. Cracks spread across the mountain. Orange light glowed from within. The volcano appeared extremely offended.
Then it erupted! Fire exploded into the sky. Lava burst from the summit. The entire island shook! Why is everything exploding? The Stone Guardian turned toward the volcano. A giant river of lava rushed directly toward him. Wait, what? The lava swallowed the Guardian. His stone body cracked. His armor shattered. Pieces of him broke apart and scattered across the island. This is unfair. Out at sea, Captain Dreadfang watched the eruption. For the first time all day, he looked nervous. That cannot be good. A gigantic burning rock fell from the sky and crashed directly into the center of Dreadfang's warship. Wood exploded. Sails tore apart. Enemy pirates flew everywhere. Not again! Minutes later, the battle was over. The Stone Guardian was gone. Dreadfang's mighty warship was sinking. The volcano was still erupting. The beach was covered in destruction. And somehow, Captain Barnacle Beard was still standing. I don't understand how you keep winning. Skill! It was not skill. But nobody had the energy to argue anymore. Against all odds, the pirates had survived. The volcano, the Guardian, the battle, the explosions, and several extremely poor decisions. The crew celebrated on the beach, exactly as planned. No. With victory secured, the pirates carried the legendary treasure chest toward their ship. At long last, their adventure was complete. We're rich! We're heroes! Back at sea, the crew gathered around the treasure chest. Everyone waited, everyone watched, everyone dreamed of unimaginable riches. Prepare yourselves. Slowly opened the chest. The glow reflected across the deck. The crew held their breath. This was it! The moment they had risked everything for. The chest was empty. Huh? What? What? Then the first mate noticed something. In a dusty corner of the ship, something nobody had paid attention to. Hold on. What's that? There, hidden among old barrels and supplies, sat another treasure chest, covered in dust, completely forgotten. Has that always been there? The crew slowly turned toward Barnacle Beard. Then toward the chest. Then back toward Barnacle Beard. A terrible truth was beginning to form. Captain... Barnacle Beard looked down at the old tavern menu. Finally, everything made sense. Oh, he had been following the wrong map the entire time! Of course you were. And so the pirates sailed into the sunset. They had crossed oceans, fought enemies, escaped curses, destroyed a volcano, and accidentally won a war, only to discover the real treasure had been on their ship the whole time. Still counts as a successful expedition. But I'm retiring. And that is the story of Captain Barnacle Beard, the luckiest pirate in history. And, quite possibly, the dumbest. The end.